Hi everyone! In this session, I'll be showing you how to set permissions in Microsoft SharePoint, specifically at the site level. Let's start with the basics. What permissions are and why they matter. Essentially, permissions define who can do what within SharePoint. Alright, let's jump into the demo so I can show you how this works. I'm starting here on the SharePoint homepage. You can set permissions right away when creating a new site, or come back later to adjust them as needed. Let's set up a new SharePoint site. Up in the top left corner, I'll click on Create Site. I get a panel where I can pick the type of site. Most of the time, you'll want a team site. This is great for working with a group, sharing files, or collaborating on projects. There's also a communication site, which is more for one-way communication, like leadership sending updates out to the whole company. But for our demo today, I'll go with a team site. Here I'll name it Test Pro 2. And then click on it Next button. Here choose this be public or private. Public means anyone in the organization can access it. Private means only the people I specifically add will be able to get in. Here, I just select private and then click on the Create Site button. Here I can add members. Members can add, edit, or delete content, but they can't manage the overall site. In this demo, I'll add Rahul Jagdand as a member. After clicking the Finish button, you can see that the Test Pro 2 site has been created successfully. Here you can see up in the top right, I can see it's set to private, and right now we only have 2 members. Now let's check what happens from other people's views. You can see if Rahul logs in, he can access the site just fine since I added him. But if John tries, he gets a message saying he needs permission, because he's not a member yet. Now let's add John. I'll click on Members, type in his name, and save. Now here you can see by default, he's added as a member. Let's check it's accessible or not. Yes, you can see that it's now accessible for John. Important thing to remember, members cannot add other people or change permissions. Only owners can do that. Here, you can see that only the owner has the specific option to add members. One more thing, you can switch a site between public and private later on. Just go to Settings, Site Information. And here you can see a privacy setting you can change. If I switch this to public, anyone in the company could access the site instantly. Let's check it. I'll log in with Patty's account, and you can see the site is accessible to her now because I set it to public. Now I'll switch it back to private. Now let's talk a little more about the differences between owners and members. As an owner, I can do everything: create lists, upload files, delete site. In Setting panel you can have option like change the site look, site information, and others. Now you can see members can still do quite a lot. They can create and edit content, but they can't change the site permissions. Also in Setting panel some option not available like site information. Change the site look. Alright, let's into site permissions. If I go to Settings and click on the site permissions you can see 3 groups. Owners have full control. Members have edit permissions. Visitors have read-only permissions. Here's something really important. By default, members can share the site or files with other people. That could be a problem for us. So I'll jump into the sharing settings and lock it down so that only I, as the owner, can share. I'll also turn off Allow Access Requests, so nobody outside can even ask for access. If I want even more control, I can click Advanced Permission Settings. Here you can see the default groups: owners, members, and visitors. Best practice is to always use groups instead of assigning permissions one by one. That way, if I need to update permissions later, I only update the group, not each person. And you can also create new groups if you want. To add a member to a group, simply click on the group. Here I just click on the visitor group. Here you can see there are no users in the group, so I'll go ahead and add Patty. Here, I select the specific group where I want to add a user, then click on Grant Permissions. Here, I invite Patty by typing her name, then choose the permission level, and finally click the Share button. Here you can see Patty added successfully in this group. Now let's talk about permission levels. Let's click on the permission level. Now you can see the by default SharePoint has built-in permission levels like full control, edit, contribute, and read. If I click on read, you can see that permissions under this level can be easily configured and modified. For this demo, I'll create a custom permission level. Here I click on the Add Permission level. I just assign specific permissions to it. Finally, I click the Create button, and you can see the custom permission level has been created successfully. If I go into the document library, here I go to Library Settings and then click on the More Library setting. And after select Permission for Document Library. If I go into the document library, you'll see it inherits permissions from the parent site. Here, you can easily break the inheritance and assign unique permissions. Alright, that's how you set permissions in SharePoint, at the site level in a document library. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more quick tips.